Hey everybody, and thanks for stopping by our YouTube channel. It is Tuesday, and you know that every Tuesday we provide you with a design or DIY tip or trick to make your projects and your life easier. If you enjoy our Tip Tuesdays and want to catch all the other content we have for you on our YouTube channel, make sure and hit that subscribe button and you will stay in the loop. All right, let's get to today's tip. So you know this month we're continuing our Tip Tuesdays this entire month on styling and creating visually appealing vignettes and displays, whether you have a store, a booth, a pop-up shop, or even using these techniques in your house. If you missed last week's video, I'll have a link for it right up here in the top of the video. But last week we talked about the shape of your display. So now we want to talk about color. So after you kind of plan the shape of your display and what you're going to use for a backdrop or a wall, let's start to do color. Now we encourage you to create a color story. You can call it, we a lot of times call it tone on tone is what a lot of our displays are, or color story. Have a cohesive look to your display. By doing this or having a color story to your display, it's going to create a lot more of a curated look. And it's going to look intentional, not like these are the items you had right now, so you put them on this display and this is what you got. You want to come across and you want to appeal to your customers that this is thought out, you curated these items and you created them for this look or this vignette. Now, ways to do that. So say you're gathering up all the items and you're starting to set up your pop-up shop or your booth or your store or the display in your house. Gather the items that are similar. So over here in this area, you might have your dark rust colors or your black or your dark browns. So kind of gather those items that go together. Over here, you might have your creams or your whites or your lighter woods. So when I say color story, I don't mean to have your entire booth one color story. You can do that. And there are people that have entire white booths, and I don't know how they do it because it is very difficult to have an entire booth with one color story. But so when you have your kind of groupings gathered up, when you start to put your display or style your display, you already kind of have those items grouped together and you can kind of see your color story forming before you even begin. You know, when Heather and I are picking on the road, it's funny when we buy stuff, we tend to just do, a lot of like neutrals or rust. We don't do a whole lot of color. And when we're gathering up our displays and packing them by the trailers or our items we bought and putting it by the trailer, it's funny how we're like, man, I like this look. It's already having a look, which is just our style. So by the nature of it, we kind of create our style and we buy items that appeal to our eye, and so it kind of creates that look. Now, if you like color, don't think that you can never incorporate color. Incorporate that color into your space. One thing that Heather and I use to kind of infuse some color into our spaces is American flags. We're here in the U.S. We love the red, white, and blue, the traditional flag, or the look of the American flag. You know what? It never goes out of style. We also like the red in the flag. Colors evoke emotion in people, and red is that excitement, that enthusiasm. We want people to feel that excitement, kind of that energetic feel when they come into our booth. So that's kind of why we use pops of red as kind of the color we choose to incorporate into our booths. If color is something you would like to know more about, I know when we first started, what does yellow mean? What does red mean? What does white? What does black? What emotions do those colors convey? Let me know that in the comment section below. And if that's something you guys would like to see on a future Tip Tuesday, I will possibly do that for you guys if I get interest, so comment that below. Let me know what you want. So if you want to incorporate display into or color into your vignette or display, do that. Just do it in maybe like one pop of color. I'll give you an example. So Heather and I at our house is really pretty neutral and white, but we recently purchased a gold velvet sofa, Chesterfield sofa. Yeah, it's really out there. I'll show you a picture of it in our space, and you can see there's so many neutrals around it that one pop of color just really creates that statement, and it's not confusing. You don't have all these colors all over the place, and so it still gives us that curated look, which is what we did. That sofa was bought intentionally, for this pop of color in this otherwise neutral space. Another great thing about having a color story to your vignettes and your displays is it's going to allow your customer to help visualize those items in their space. When they look at the display and then the items are all cohesive, it looks really good together, they're more inclined to maybe buy more than one item rather than just buy one thing that they like. They'll really like the way the items go together and buy more than one item. So that's also something to keep in mind when you're styling for a pop-up, show or a booth or a retail space. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you didn't catch last week's video, I'll put a link to it right up here. And once we upload next week's video, I'll put a link to it right down here so you can check those guys out. And I hope you guys enjoyed the video. We will see you next week.